Let's be honest, I feel like we all come to YouTube for a selfish reason, and I'm not inherently calling you selfish. I'm just saying we come here to be entertained or educated or whatever that may be. So if you are here watching my channel because of my podcast or my plan with me's or anything like that, I just want to give you so much appreciation and thanks and gratitude from my whole heart for watching a makeup video because that's what originally brought me to the internet in the first place. I have such a passion for makeup. I've been a makeup artist for 8 years, if you didn't know, and I'm really excited to get into this very in-depth, lengthy video. I'm sorry about that in advance, but I just have so much to share with you guys, and I can't wait to learn and grow with this community and teach you guys all the secrets that I know. And this one being on a budget really speaks near and dear to my heart because I'm someone who always had to budget, and I still do. I'm still that relatable, normal human who, makes anywhere from like $1,400 to maybe $2,300 a month, and I'm just really excited. I also forgot to mention in the end of the video that all of these products will be linked in my Amazon storefront. I do earn a very small amount of commission from those purchases, but it doesn't cost you any more to buy through those links, and I'll only link the products if the price is right. Like if the price in store is less than what it is on Amazon, I won't link it. So if you don't find the product there that I'm using in this video, that's why. But I would hope that you check it out. I have it very organized. There's lots of things, lots of fun things, lots of lifestyle, motivation, sobriety idea gifts, and my makeup must-haves. I hope you guys like this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell before you leave, please, if you're new here. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into the makeup tutorial. Thanks so much if you made it past what I'm sure was a very lengthy intro. I've been trying to get better at that. We are going to get into the best of the best for the lowest of the low price. I'm going to teach you everything that I know and it come from like a very much beginner standpoint of how I apply my makeup, why maybe I'm doing that technique, and little tips and tricks. Very Tati coded. I love Tati. She's a huge inspiration to me. And the reason for me being on YouTube in the first place was makeup, so I want to still produce and bring makeup content to you because I'm very passionate about it. Okay, so first thing first is primer. We know her. I don't love her. Seriously, I am not a huge believer in primer being a main source of longevity for makeup. Not longevity, I say longevity, I know, it's a thing. Primers can be really good if you have acne-prone skin because it can give you a layer of protection from the makeup that you're applying. It can also be really good to help mattify you or fill in like pores. It can also benefit you in changing the finish of your foundation from like matte to dewy or dewy to a more matte look, which I guess in turn could lead to helping your makeup last and stay longer. But I really believe that it's about technique, and I kind of always skip primer. If you're washing your skin twice for at least 60 seconds and then going in with a moisturizer that is suitable for your skin type. Skin prep is everything, and I think that a lot of times primers are created in place of skin prep, like to make up for the fact that someone's not using skin prep, and so that's why they end up falling in love with it because they're not prepping their skin correctly. So then they're like, wow, this primer is great, but then they just got conned into actually buying like a whole other makeup product when they should be taking care of their skin in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I know this is lengthy, but I just like really want you guys to hear and have all of the information and tips that I've just been like dying to share in long form content. So if you stick around, I promise that you'll learn something and you might even be a little entertained along the way. Hopefully you are. I'm going with my tried and true end all be all favorite foundations. Honestly, I think it's one of the best foundations ever created. Like it would be in my top 5 for sure. It's probably the most worn foundation I've ever had in my life. It's the most bought foundation I've ever purchased in my life, and that is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow in all her beautiful glory. I am the shade 204 Natural Buff. My face is not, but my chest is. And this is kind of like my summer shade. So I'm going to go directly onto the skin with the foundation, and I'm just going to use a brush. I like to use a brush and a sponge, but if you don't have a brush, I do suggest maybe just using a sponge because I feel like you'll get a better result. Brushes can be harder if you're new, if you're a novice, if you're an amateur, brushes can be harder to master in the beginning, okay? This is the Palladio Flat Kabuki brush. It is like $10 at Sally's and on their website. It's really good. So you have the foundation on the skin, and I'm gonna start swiping gently because this is gonna get us to maneuver the product where we need the coverage, okay? and then we're going to kind of tap it into the skin. Now, personally, this is enough coverage for me, but you can build this up if it's not enough for you. And I did already do my eyebrows. I have a really recent in-depth eyebrow tutorial up on my channel, so go check that out if you're curious. This is a dry, dirty sponge. These are both Real Techniques. Like, you can see the logo on the side. So you can see the size difference from when something is fully saturated and completely wrung out. Oh, there's a water drop. So not completely, but it needs to be like fully saturated so it is thoroughly wet all the way through. If you use this, you're going to have a larger chance of demarcation of your makeup, and it's not going to do what the benefits of a sponge give us, okay? So the reason we use a sponge, the reason we enjoy a sponge in this makeup world is because when it's slightly damp, it helps to like add a little bit more hydration to the skin. It will help you to maneuver the product a bit easier, wet and wet, you know what I mean? And it also won't suck up a ton of product because there's already water in the sponge, and the sponge can only hold so much, so it's going to help your product go longer. It also, the reason I use it after using a brush is because this is just going to give me the most airbrushed looking finish. It kind of just continues to push everything into the skin and just really like pick up anything that might be sitting around, a little bit of texture that you might have, or sitting in some of your fine lines or anything like that, or like be in an area where you maybe didn't notice that foundation was starting to bunch and get weird. This is just like the ultimate like quick little tool to make sure everything is flawless, and that's why I do it. You'll see me do it typically after every step because it's really good for blending and it's really good for making sure that everything is pushed into the skin so we have long-lasting makeup, but also to just ensure that we don't have any makeup product caking up anywhere on the skin or face. Now, when it comes to blush, bronzer, and concealer, I like to mix up the order in which I apply it, to be quite honest with you. Today I'm going to start with bronzer. Usually it's either bronzer or concealer first, and then blush is always last for me. That's just a me thing, and that's the way I prefer to do it. So this is the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Toast. This is the most affordable best bronzer that you're ever going to find. I promise you that. Like, you'll never find a bronzer that's better and more affordable than this one. Period. Promise you. I think it's like $2.47. This is the shade Toast. So I'm just putting this on the skin, and then I'm using this brush. This is out of a $10 set of a 16-piece brush set I got off Amazon that I adore. That will also be linked. But I'm going to use this brush. This is such a good brush set as well for beginners. These brushes are so nice, and I'm like truly impressed by them, and you get 16 for literally pennies. It's like $10 brush set. So I do like a lot of bronzer. You wear your makeup however you want. There are no rules to makeup. One thing I will tell you though is that if you go lower than this little ear, the little start of your ear here, it is going to drag your face down, and that can start to appear and be unflattering to the eye because it can make your face appear wider no matter what kind of face shape you have. So do kind of keep that in mind when bronzing. Another thing I like to do is just kind of put this in the eye socket, just on like the outer 2/3 of my eye. I feel like then I get a more cohesive blend. And if I'm accentuating my jawbone structure, I feel like I should also be accentuating my bone structure in other areas. Most people will contour or bronze on the forehead to create the illusion of a shadow. Creating the illusion of a shadow or a more defined shadow is what's going to give you that more defined illusion of a better bone structure, essentially, which is what we're all doing with makeup. So you might have to play around with different placements versus what you do and your favorite beauty guru might do because you have a different face shape. And I notice that on the forehead sometimes I will like do the round thing all the way across, and it just doesn't look right on me because I don't have a very large forehead, so I don't really need to be adding bronze here. It starts to look a bit weird. So I do just add like a wash of color to the sides, and you can just see the difference in how much more structured this side of my face looks versus this another one. Thing is, obviously, I'm sure you've seen, you can just carve out the jaw. One thing about this formula is that it has a really nice dry down, which is great because it like won't move or budge, and you can get really nice results that way and really long-lasting makeup. but you want to make sure like you're applying it and then immediately or directly blending it out. So you can see that already like creates the illusion of a better jawline for me. You're gonna accentuate one thing, you ought to be cohesive and do the rest of it. You'll have a more cohesive look overall, a more completed makeup look at the end. So that's the difference. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side and I'll be right back. Something else I didn't mention is that you'll notice I'm kind of pushing this product to blend it versus like swiping it around. It's because I don't want to disrupt the foundation underneath. I don't want any demarcation or it to look like I've moved that product around. So keep that in mind. I'm kind of doing pressing and light swiping motions to get the product to go where I want it to go. And obviously we're going to be applying concealer over top of this, so it will tone down a little bit as well, and you can also use your beauty sponge to tone things down. Okay, so now that I've got my face chiseled the way that I want to chisel it, kind of, I do like to add a little shadow of depth underneath my bottom lip here. Let me just say this, you can do something forever and you can do something for a short amount of time, and either way you can be good or bad, and you can enjoy doing something and not be good at it. And that's me. I enjoy doing this, but I'm not good at it. Really, I'm not. I don't really know what the features of my nose are that I don't like. I'm not too upset with my nose shape, so it's hard for me to know like which nose contour tutorial would benefit me. So I just like to add just a little bit of bronzer to my nose so that everything's cohesive. Now once I've done everything bronzer wise, I can gently go and push with my sponge around the edges of that bronzer just to make sure it's really seamlessly airbrushed looking and blended into that foundation. For concealer, we're going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I did recently try out a concealer from the Dollar Tree. This is the Essentially Ageless Hydrating Serum Concealer with Hyaluronic Acid, and it's actually pretty good. So if you're struggling, like, or you're on like a super budget, this didn't break me out, and it's very comparable to the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Drugstore concealer. I've heard the e.l.f. Camo Concealer is really good as well, but I have not personally used it. Ulta does have a concealer that's pretty good, like the Ulta brand. Now, everywhere that I put bronzer, there's a reason. I'm sorry, obviously, I already explained that though. For concealer, there's a reason as well. So not only does highlighting my chin give me more of a defined structure on my face, but it's also going to give nice contrast to that shadow that I created underneath my lip. Same with the nose. It's just going to accentuate the fact that I put bronzer on there to kind of bronze it up. This just helps highlight it and blend everything together and look a little bit more seamless. When something's brighter and doesn't have a shadow, it comes forward. So if you have like hollow eyes or eyes that sink in or something like that, or any of those issues, using a brighter concealer, and the reason we want a bright under eye is because it's going to help give that illusion of youth and of glowiness and awakeness, which is like what we're using makeup for typically on the day-to-day. And this is just, the very average, in-depth drugstore flawless base routine tutorial. Now, the reason that I always use my concealer as an eye primer is because I've never really found an eye primer that, for me, does something different than a concealer does, and then that's one less product for me to have to buy. This is the ColourPop blush stick. This is $8. This is the shade Under Pressure, and I could not say enough good things about this blush. I actually don't have a single complaint. I wore this shade almost every single day last year. I'm not kidding. Almost every single day. Any day that I did my makeup, which was most days. And I still have so much product. It's unbelievable. And then I'm going to go in with a brush. And with gentle circular tapping motions, I'm just going to blend out that blush and make sure there's no demarcation or weirdness from me tapping it onto the skin using the stick. You could also rub it on the back of your hand, dip your brush in it that way to warm up the product. So I just love this blush. I think it gives the prettiest little just pop of color, and you can still see the sheen of this glowy foundation coming through, which is my favorite. Obviously, this is a very medium coverage look that I'm doing today. You can go very full coverage just by using like the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in place of the Maybelline Fit Me, and also layering up that L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow foundation. It's all about light layers and building up. So for setting underneath my eyes, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade 10. I'm going to use this on a powder puff. Now you might be wondering, why did powder puffs go so viral and why is everyone using a little powder puff nowadays? Well, the powder puff really allows the powder to be set into the skin with the right amount of pressure to really get in there and make sure that everything is going to be set. So going back to that like firm medium pressure, this really allows us to intricately set areas of our face with that same firm pressure to make sure nothing moves and everything sits where it needs to be for as long. And I will kind of pull it in a V shape underneath my eye here to lift that eye, and you can see the difference. Now I'm going to use less powder for the rest of my face than I did underneath my eye, just because I don't have as many problems moving or creasing on the rest of my face. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the translucent powder by Makeup Revolution, and I am going to set my forehead because I do have fine lines and a little bit of texture I'm noticing on my forehead today. And this is a very, very blurring powder with a little bit of coverage, as to where the Maybelline Fit Me powder is a bit blurring, but it has a lot more coverage. Now I already showed off the bronzer that I plan on using, so we're going to get right into this. It's the Infallible Fresh Wear Bronzer. Oh, it's actually a bronzer. I thought it was just a pressed powder. They're soft matte bronzer. This is in the shade 300 Light Medium. I picked this up recently, but I really do enjoy it. And I'm going to be using an Ulta blush brush, like the Ulta brand blush brush, to apply this. I like the shape. I feel like it's much more of a bronzer shape than it is a blush shape, but to each their own, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of dust this on top of the bronzer. This is going to make our makeup last, okay? These light layers. Now for powder blush, I feel like you all know what I'm going with. I own all, but because I want the Rose D'Oro shade, because it's a bit more corally, and that's my favorite. I think it's the most flattering. I'm not a super pink blush girly. I'm using this Wet n Wild blush brush. I think I got this at Five Below. Anyway, I'm going to swirl the brush into the product. I'm doing it over here because glitter is going to come off into the air and onto the brush as well. After I load that brush up with a lot of product, tap it off, you'll see all the glitter go into the air. And that helps me get a lot less glitter on my skin, because I do still like a bit of the shimmer, the sheen payoff that it can give, but I'm not looking to have a glittery cheek, you know what I mean? Now I'm going to use a blank blending brush, just a blank brush. This is a Real Techniques setting brush, and what I'm going to do is dust away the bake on the sides of my nose with a little bit of pressure and kind of like a circular motion blend, just to make sure that's all dusted off, and then this is nice and blended in so we don't have any demarcation from our blush to our powder. That gives us like a much more flawless look. It's time to drench our face. Now, I have two drugstore options for setting sprays. The NYX Bear With Me Prime Set Refresh and the e.l.f. Soothing Aloe Mist. I'm going to go in with the NYX one today, the Prime Set Refresh. These are very comparable in price. I think the NYX is like $1 more expensive. This is very much like for neutral skin types. Like you can be oily or dry and this isn't going to hurt you either way. Now, why are we drenching the face? Well, I'll tell you. This is going to turn all those powders into slight liquids, okay? This finishing setting spray that is giving you the ability to literally make it one cohesive, like, meshed together face, like a mask. Like, it creates this makeup, instead of it being in layers and steps, into like its own cohesive face makeup mask. Does that make sense? I hope that it does. If it doesn't, still do this step. Don't skip this step. If it doesn't make sense to you, make sure that you're still doing it. Okay. That is the flawless base makeup routine. But as a little added bonus. I'm not going to do my eyes for you guys. Usually I'll just throw on like lashes and mascara, or just mascara and a lip liner and a lip and go out the door. Favorite drugstore combo is the 03 Milani lip liner with the London NYX soft matte lip cream. So if you've made it this far through the video, congratulations! You get a little bonus tip. I'm going to teach you something. I actually just did a shorts video on this. So this is the Sally Hansen airbrush legs. That's what I have on my chest right now. I know, but hear me out. This doesn't move. But if you want to have a bronzy, glowy chest, like we're talking J-Lo vibes, we're talking what Tati teaches us, and I know Tati teaches us things on a budget as well, but this is a trick that I kind of taught myself, implementing some of the things that she talks about. So, you're going to get a brush. This is a kabuki brush. I'm not sure the brand, actually. There's just a B on it. I'm sorry. But it is just like a flat top kabuki, like soft, rounded, very fluffy brush. I use this for self-tanning my hands, okay? I use this for self-tanning my face. I used it to apply this, and now I'm going to use it to apply this. This is the Pacifica Crystal Bronze Shimmering Body Oil. Boost your aura with a bronzing glow with vanilla, tuberose, coconut, and quartz. Create your bliss. Vegan, cruelty-free, you guys know Pacifica is that brand. This gives you hydration and a kiss, just a kiss of shimmer. Now I'm going to put this on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take my brush and just douse the brush in this, and then I'm going to tap this on my collarbones and my chest. Look at that beautiful, natural, glowy skin. We've just got like a nice, bronzed, beautiful, oh, I just love this trick on a budget. Thank you for sticking around this long in the video to learn these tips and tricks. I really, really appreciate that you did. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it is chock full of information. So if you guys want me to break this down a little bit more into shorter bite-sized pieces and videos, let me know, and I definitely can do that. I'm someone who really enjoys long-form content and just sitting down with someone and hearing them talk, hearing how they do things and learning things for myself, and it's something I miss about YouTube. And it was kind of my motivation for coming back a little bit, because I was like, I'm gonna go be what I'm missing consuming on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I really enjoyed being able to sit here with you and really go through all these products, how I use them, why I use them, the way I use them. If you implement or try any of these things, or have any suggestions for any other products that I should try, or you think that would change my life or the way that I do makeup, let me know, please, because I would love to try them. Also, if you have any video suggestions or any questions you want answered like in a video, let me know. You can also follow me over on Instagram. That's easy to find, and I will starting to do like Q&As, so I can do a Q&A video for you guys so you really can get to know me more, but I want to be able to answer questions that you guys want to be answered. So I don't want to just do a generic like get to know me, but I can if no one wants to go over there and follow me there. It's just that's where you can do a poll. I might be able to do a poll in the community tab. I'm still exploring, I'm still learning, I'm still figuring things out, but it brought me a lot of joy to do this video. Like, it makes me feel so at peace. I don't know. You know, when you have a desire in your heart, there's no way to get rid of that desire but to give into it. And this is me giving into that desire. So if you're here, thank you. If you are into self-help podcasts and that kind of like big sisterly tough love, like self-growth type of thing, I have a podcast called Sounds Like a You Problem. I'd love for you to check it out. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Please hit that subscribe button. We are so, so close to being monetized, and I can't wait to share that journey with you and give you all the tea, all the numbers, all the details, everything, the full story. I also do monthly plan with me's, and we're about to do a yearly plan with me because it's December. So at the end of the year, we'll be doing a big fun plan with me, and I just hope you have a great day. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're happy. I hope you can find some gratitude in today and do something nice for someone. I do love you all so much. I know that it sounds cheesy and candid, like not candid, maybe cliche, but if people can hate for no reason, I think I can love for no reason, you know, without knowing you. Because people hate me all the time not knowing me. So I think I can love you without knowing you. Thanks for being here. I'll see you guys all in the next video.